A young man's hand, dirty and calloused, grips the handle of a heavy wooden sword. The sound of rhythmic marching, grunts of effort, and the sharp bark of a commander's voice can be heard. The visuals are fast-paced cuts, dusty sandals on a training ground, sweat beading on a forehead, the intense eyes of a trainer. Narrator, imagine you're 17 years old. You're not in a comfortable classroom, scrolling through your phone. You're standing under a scorching sun, in a field of dust and sweat. The textbook in your hand is a 20-pound shield, and your final exam isn't a multiple-choice test. It's a life-or-death battle against a barbarian horde. This was the reality for a Roman legionary recruit. They didn't have the luxury of learning at their own pace. They had to master complex siege engineering, brutal close-quarters combat, and unwavering group discipline in a matter of months, not years. Failure didn't mean a bad grade. It meant a spear through the chest. How did they do it? How did they turn illiterate farm boys into the most sophisticated, adaptable, and lethal fighting force in the ancient world? Over and over again. For centuries, they didn't have productivity gurus or learning apps. They had something far more powerful, a system. A brutal, efficient, and battle-tested method for forging elite competence under unimaginable pressure. Forget what you think you know about learning hacks. For the next 7 days, we're going to resurrect that system. I'm going to show you how to steal the principles of the Roman military academy and apply them to learn any skill you want, a new language, a coding framework, a musical instrument, with the intensity and discipline of a legionary preparing for war. This isn't about memorizing Latin phrases. It's about installing a 2,000-year-old mental operating system for rapid, practical, and permanent skill acquisition. We're going to build it piece by piece, based on the 3 pillars of Roman training. The first is disciplina, the unbreakable structure. This isn't just discipline, it's the art of forging an environment where learning is not a choice, but a necessity, where procrastination dies before it can even begin. The second is exercitium, the crucible of practice. This is the Roman obsession with doing, not just knowing. We'll learn how they moved from theory to lethal application at lightning speed, using methods that make modern practice sessions look like a vacation. And the third, most overlooked pillar, contubernium. The squad. The Romans knew that the fastest way to learn is not alone, but in a small, accountable unit. It was their secret weapon for motivation and mastery. So if you're ready to stop passively consuming information and start actively forging skills, grab a notebook. Silence your notifications. Your 7-day indoctrination begins now. Title card, DAY1 Disciplina Forge Your Battlefield. Narrator, welcome to the training ground. Recruit, your first mission is to abandon comfort. The Romans knew that the environment dictates performance. A legionary didn't train in his comfortable barracks, he trained on the campus *, the field of battle. Today, you will build your own campus. This is not your bedroom. It is not your couch. For the next 7 days, you will designate one single, Spartan space for learning, a chair, a desk. Nothing else. No phone within arm's reach. No browser tabs open to social media. When you enter this space, you are on duty. The outside world does not exist. The Romans called this the locus consecratus *, a consecrated space. By crossing its threshold, you are making a sacred pact with yourself. This isn't just about avoiding distraction, it's a psychological trigger. It tells your brain, the time for debate is over. The time for action has arrived. Your first assignment: define its borders. A specific chair at a clean table, a corner of a room. Make it Spartan. If an item does not serve your learning mission, it is an enemy combatant. It must be removed. Your phone? Leave it in another room, silenced. Your legionary sword was for fighting, not for fiddling with. Treat your learning tools with the same singular focus. Narrator, next, we install the Roman clock. A legion's day wasn't governed by mood or motivation. It was governed by the *horarium*, the schedule, marked by the blast of a horn. At the first signal, they awoke. At the second, they drilled. At the third, they ate. There was no room for "I don't feel like it." The schedule was law. Your modern-day horn is a simple timer. We will use it not to count down, but to signal the start of an unbreakable contract. For the next 7 days, you will schedule your learning in non-negotiable blocks of time. I recommend 50 minutes of focused battle, followed by 10 minutes of tactical rest. This is your Vigilia *, your watch duty. During those 50 minutes, you are at war with ignorance. No checking email. No getting a snack. No quick look at the news. You do the work, and only the work. When the timer sounds, your duty is over. You stand down, you can walk, stretch, hydrate. But when the next signal sounds, you are back on the line. Think that's extreme? A Roman sentry who fell asleep on his watch was clubbed to death by his own comrades. The stakes were absolute, which forged absolute focus. You must create your own stakes. This brings us to the centurion's staff. The vitus. Every centurion carried one, a staff cut from a grapevine. It wasn't just a symbol of rank, it was a tool of enforcement. It was the constant, physical reminder that standards would be met. You need to create your own vitus. How? By making a commitment that has a genuine cost. Tell a friend your goal and a penalty for failure. You'll buy them an expensive dinner if you miss a session. Use a commitment app like Beeminder that will take your money if you go off track. Write down your weekly schedule, sign it like a contract, and post it where you can see it. This is not about self-punishment. It's about making a promise so real that breaking it feels more painful than doing the work. It's the point of no return that a legionary felt when the enemy appeared over the hill. Retreat was not an option. So, your orders for day 1 are clear. 1. Forge your campus. A clean, dedicated, Spartan space for learning only. Sanctify it. 2. Draft your ***rarium. Schedule your 50-minute training blocks for the entire week. Set alarms for them now. This is your law. 3. Raise your vitus. Create a real, painful consequence for failing to show up for duty. Write it down. Make the pact. Do not proceed to day 2 until this structure is built. A legion never marched into battle before its camp was fortified. Your learning campaign is no different. The screen fades to a shot of a single, clean desk with a notebook and a pen on it, lit by a single lamp in an otherwise dark room. The sound of a lone horn echoes faintly. Narrator, the battlefield is prepared. The law is written. Tomorrow, we begin the drill. Tomorrow is for ***exercitium**. Be ready. Title card. Day 2. Exercitium, the crucible of practice. Video opens on a close-up of a wooden training sword, ***scruties***, slamming repeatedly against a wooden post, sending splinters flying. The cuts are jarring, a legionary's knuckles, white and strained, the gritted teeth of a recruit as a trainer shoves a heavy shield into his gut, a line of men marching in perfect, synchronized step through thick mud. Narrator, yesterday, you built your fortress, you consecrated the ground and set the law. But a fortress is useless without a soldier to defend it. Today, we forge the soldier. The Roman word for this is ***exercitium**. It doesn't mean exercise in our soft, modern sense. It means a grinding, repetitive, all-consuming process of forging raw ability into instinct. A recruit didn't learn to fight by reading scrolls on military theory. He learned by swinging a sword until his muscles screamed. We've become a culture of learning about. We watch tutorials. We read articles. We listen to podcasts. We collect information like a scavenger, but we rarely build anything with it. The Romans collected victories. The difference is ***exercitium. Your first lesson from the crucible: train with a weighted sword. Narrator, when a Roman recruit was handed his first Rudes***, his training sword, it was made of solid wood and was double the weight of the steel, gladius, he would one day carry into battle. His shield was a monster of wood and wicker, heavier than the one he'd used to splinter bone. Why? The logic is brutal and brilliant. They practiced under conditions far harder than the real thing. They endured exhaustion in training so that they could feel fresh in combat. After months of swinging that leaden log, the feel of a real sword in their hand was like a feather. It was fast, responsive, lethal. You must apply this principle. Stop practicing the easy parts. Identify the most difficult, most demanding component of the skill you want to learn, and make that the core of your practice. Learning a language? Don't just drill flashcards. Force yourself to speak with a native speaker for 5 minutes, even if it's terrifying. That is your weighted sword. Learning to code? Don't just copy a tutorial. Build a small feature from scratch with only the documentation to guide you. That is your weighted shield. The discomfort you feel is the muscle of your skill tearing, so it can be rebuilt stronger. Your second lesson: deconstruct to dominate. A legionary wasn't just a brute. He was an engineer, a builder, a problem solver. A complex maneuver like the testudo *, the tortoise formation, wasn't learned in one go. It was broken down into 100 tiny, individual movements. Raise shield. Lock edge. Step forward. Hold angle. Each piece was drilled to perfection before being assembled into an impenetrable wall of shields. You must become a combat engineer of your skill. Take the thing you want to learn and break it down into its smallest possible components. Don't try to learn guitar instead. Master one movement, the perfect placing of one finger to make one clean note. Do it again. And again. Then master the second finger. Then the transition between them. This isn't slow. It's the fastest path to mastery, because it leaves no gaps in your knowledge. You're not just memorizing a song, you are building the fundamental mechanics to play any song. You're not just learning a phrase, you are learning the atoms of the language. Finally, the most critical lesson of *exercitium*, obey the *pensum. A Roman soldier was assigned a *pensum*, a daily quota. It could be a length of trench to dig, or a number of drills to complete. It wasn't a suggestion. It wasn't based on how motivated he felt. It was a non-negotiable unit of work. His day was not over until the *pensum* was met. Your 50-minute watch duty, your vigilia*, is not about just showing up. It must have a *pensum. A concrete, measurable, and mandatory outcome. Don't just study French. Your *pensum* is master 10 new verbs and write a paragraph using all of them. Don't practice the piano. Your *pensum* is play the third stanza of this piece 15 times in a row without a single error. This transforms your practice from a vague, passive activity into a clear, daily mission. It's binary. You either met the quota or you did not. There is no middle ground. The centurion didn't care about your effort. He cared if the wall was built. Be your own centurion. So, your orders for day 2 are as follows. 1. Wield the weighted sword. Identify the single most difficult element of your skill. Your first 20 minutes of every session this week will be spent battling that element exclusively. 2. Deconstruct your mission. Break your skill down into its smallest fundamental parts. Write them down. Your practice will focus on mastering these atoms, not the whole. 3. Set your *pensum. For each training block you scheduled on day 1, define a specific, non-negotiable, and measurable quota of work to be completed. Write it in your notebook. The camp is built. The drills are set. You are now moving with purpose. But a legionary was never an army of one. He was one part of a terrifyingly efficient machine. To truly accelerate, you need the final piece of the Roman system. The screen shows a close-up of a Roman vexillum, a military standard, bearing the emblem of a legion. The wind whips it. We hear the distant, rhythmic marching of a large group. Narrator: tomorrow, you join the ranks. Tomorrow is for *contubernium*. Tomorrow, you meet your squad. Title card, Day 3. CONTUBERNIUM, the unbreakable shield wall. Video opens with a jarring, metallic clang of shields locking together. The camera is low, looking up at a wall of grim-faced legionaries, their eyes staring forward, unblinking. They move as one entity. The sound is a rhythmic shuffle of leather sandals and the creak of armor. Narrator: the modern world worships the lone genius, the isolated founder, the solitary artist. This is a myth. And in the Roman world, it was a fatal one. An individual soldier, no matter how strong, is a liability, a target. But 10 men, locked together, become a fortress of wood and steel. A killing machine. This was the soul of the Legion, Contubernium. The smallest unit of the army, the 8 men who shared a tent, a cooking pot, and the terror of the front line. They were a family forged in mud and blood. They were the engine of Roman victory. Learning is a battlefield. And you have been fighting it alone for too long. Today, that ends. Your first lesson from the squad: find your *contubernalis*, your shieldmate. A legionary's shield, the scutum *, was rectangular for a reason. It protected his own body, but its long, straight edge was designed to lock with the shield of the man to his left, covering his exposed side. Each man was responsible for the survival of his brother. You must find one other person who is engaged in their own learning war. This is not a study buddy you can cancel on. This is your *contubernalis. Your success is now tied to theirs. Your mission is to form a pact. At the start of each day, you will state your *pensum*, your daily quota, to your shieldmate. At the end of the day, you will report back with one of 2 answers: mission complete, or I have failed. There is no room for excuses. The shame of telling a comrade you broke ranks is a more powerful motivator than any app or internal promise. You are now fighting for someone else's honor as well as your own. Your second lesson: suffer the *decimatio. When a cohort showed cowardice in battle, the punishment was swift and horrific. The unit was decimated. Every 10th man, chosen by lot, was executed by his own comrades. The message was absolute: the failure of the group is the failure of every individual. We will resurrect this principle, but we will aim it at mediocrity, not failure. With your *contubernalis*, you will set a weekly goal, a shared objective. If one of you fails to complete your *pensum* on any given day, you both suffer a pre-agreed upon consequence. A punishment. Perhaps you both have to do 100 push-ups. Perhaps you both have to donate a small amount of money to a cause you despise. The penalty must be real, immediate, and shared. You are now your brother's keeper. His laziness becomes your pain. Your procrastination becomes his burden. This is the ultimate accountability. It forces you to elevate not just yourself, but your entire unit. Finally, you must conduct the centurion's inspection. A Roman soldier's gear was his life. A loose sandal strap could mean a fatal slip. A dull blade could mean a blocked killing blow. After a day's march or drill, the centurion would inspect every man, top to bottom. He was looking for weaknesses, not to punish, but to fortify the line. At the end of your daily report to your *contubernalis*, you will add one question: where was the line weakest today? Was it a specific concept you couldn't grasp, a moment where distraction nearly broke you? You will expose your weakness to the one person whose job it is to guard your flank. You will dissect the problem together, not as a complaint, but as a tactical problem to be solved. My shield arm is tiring, then we will do more drills for strength. This turns your struggle from a private shame into a shared strategic challenge. Your orders for day 3 are the most important yet. 1. Recruit your *contubernalis. Find one person taking on a difficult task and form the pact. Exchange your *pensum* daily. 2. Agree on the *decimatio. Set a shared weekly goal and a shared, immediate punishment for any individual failure. Write it down. 3. Conduct the inspection. After your daily report, ask the question: where was the line weakest? Offer one piece of tactical advice. The structure is built. The drills are relentless. The squad is sworn. You now have the external system of a Roman legionary. But the final war is not fought on the field. It's fought in the 6 inches between your ears. The Romans had a philosophy for this, forged in the heat of battle and the chaos of politics. A mental operating system for turning fear into fuel, and panic into purpose. The screen cuts to a close-up shot of a stoic marble bust of a Roman emperor, perhaps Marcus Aurelius. The stone is chipped and weathered, but the expression is one of calm resolve. The sound of a cold wind blows. Narrator: tomorrow, we arm your mind. Tomorrow is for *premeditatio malorum. Tomorrow, you learn to die before the battle begins. Title card. Day 4. Premeditationmallorum. The Armor of the Mind. Video opens on a chillingly realistic CGI rendering of a Roman legion caught in a blizzard in a dense German forest. Trees are cracking under the weight of ice. A soldier stumbles, his face blue with cold. The wind howls. Narrator. The legionary's greatest enemy wasn't the barbarian waiting with an axe, it was the traitor inside his own mind. The voice that whispered of despair in the frozen forest, of panic in the chaos of a charge, of defeat before the first sword was even drawn. For 3 days, you have built your external fortress. Your campus asterisk, your asterisk herrarium asterisk, your asterisk contubernium. But a fortress with a panicked garrison is just a tomb. Today, we armor the mind. The Stoic philosophers who guided Roman emperors and generals had a name for this mental armor: premeditatio malorum. The premeditation of evils. It is the practice of imagining the absolute worst-case scenario. Not to wallow in fear, but to systematically strangle it before it can be born. This is not positive thinking. This is strategic pessimism. A general who only imagines victory is surprised by the first volley of arrows. The general who has already lived through 1,000 imagined defeats in his mind is ready for anything. Your first lesson from the Stoic general: rehearse catastrophe. Before a campaign, a Roman commander would obsess over the negatives. What if the supply wagons get stuck in the mud? What if the bridge collapses? What if a plague sweeps through the camp? He would walk through these disasters in his mind, step by agonizing step, not to create anxiety, but to neutralize it. Fear thrives on the unknown. By making the worst-case scenario familiar, you rob it of its power to shock you. You will do the same with your learning. What is your greatest fear? Stuttering through a presentation in your new language? Your code crashing in front of a potential employer? Hitting a plateau so hard you want to quit? Do not push these thoughts away. Confront them. Write down the 3 worst things that could happen in your learning journey. Then, for each one, write down your specific, tactical response. Not, I'll try harder, but if my code crashes, I will say, this is a perfect opportunity to demonstrate my debugging process. I will check the console. Then the network tab. Then, you are creating a battle plan for your fear. When it appears on the battlefield, you will not panic. You will execute a drill you have rehearsed 100 times. Your second lesson: separate fate from fingertips. A legionary cannot control the rain. He cannot control the terrain. He cannot control if the enemy outnumbers him 10-1. If he focuses on these things, he is paralyzed. But he can control the grip on his shield. He can control his place in the line. He can control his own courage. The Stoics called this the dichotomy of control. You must burn it into your brain. So much of our modern anxiety comes from trying to control what we cannot. You cannot control if you have a natural talent for music. You cannot control if the job market for your new skill is hot or cold. These things are fate. They are outside your control. What you can control is your asterisk pensum. The quota. The work. Whether you show up to your campus for your scheduled vigilia, whether you complete your 15 error-free repetitions. Your mission is to obsess over the process, not the outcome. The centurion judges you on whether you built the wall, not whether you feel like an expert mason. When you feel frustration, ask yourself this question: is this thing I am worrying about within my direct, immediate control? If the answer is no, you must dismiss it as a phantom. Turn your attention back to your shield, your sword, your work. Finally, the legionary's ultimate mental weapon: the enemy is a teacher. When a Roman engineer built a bridge and it failed, he didn't curse the river. He studied the currents. The failure became the blueprint for a stronger bridge. The obstacle was not in the way, it was the way. You must adopt this mindset. The bug in your code is not a personal failure. It is a masterclass in debugging, delivered free of charge. The grammar rule you can't grasp isn't a sign of your stupidity. It is the map to a deeper understanding of the language. Every moment of struggle, every frustrating error, Every awkward conversation is your weighted sword. It is the very thing forging your competence. You must learn to say, good, distracted, good. An opportunity to practice ruthless focus. Confused? Good. A chance to deconstruct a problem from first principles. Terrified to speak? Good. You have found the exact boundary of your comfort zone. Now, you know where to attack. So, your orders for day 4 are a declaration of war on your own weakness. 1. Rehearse catastrophe. Write down your 3 worst fears related to your skill, and your precise, tactical plan to counter each one. 2. Draw your line. At the top of your notebook, draw a line. On one side, list the outcomes you cannot control. On the other, list the actions you can control. Vow to spend 0 energy on the first list. 3. Welcome the attack. The next time you feel stuck or frustrated, write it down. Then, write 1 sentence explaining how this specific obstacle is the perfect training opportunity. The mind is now armored. The external systems are in place. But how do you install a complex skill into that mind so that it never leaves? How did Romans memorize epic poems, hours-long speeches, and complex laws without a single written note? They didn't just learn. They built. Narrator, tomorrow, we stop memorizing, we start building. Tomorrow is for *Ars Memoriae. The Art of Memory. Title card, DAY 5, Ars Memoriae, Build the Palace of Knowledge. Video opens with a dizzying, dreamlike sequence. We are flying through the rooms of a massive, detailed Roman villa. In one room, a gladiator is swinging a sword with a Spanish verb written on the blade. In another, Julius Caesar is sitting at a table, pointing to different parts of a computer motherboard. The visuals are strange, vivid, and unforgettable. Narrator, a recruit's mind is a blank slate. A veteran's mind is a fortress, with every piece of critical information stored, fortified, and instantly accessible under fire. We are drowning in information, yet we remember almost nothing. We highlight passages we never review, bookmark websites we never revisit, and forget a new name seconds after hearing it. We are information scavengers, not architects. The Romans were architects of memory. They understood a fundamental truth about the brain: it doesn't remember abstract data well, but it never forgets a place. They used this to build *Palatium Memoriae*, memory palaces. Vast, imaginary structures in their minds, where they could store and retrieve any information they wished. Today, you stop trying to cram information into your head. You will build a place for it to live. Your first lesson: lay the foundation. Choose a place you know intimately: your childhood home, your current apartment, the path you walk to work. This is the foundation of your palace. Close your eyes and walk through it in meticulous detail: the texture of the front door, the squeak of the third step, the exact placement of furniture in the living room. You must be able to navigate it in your mind's eye with perfect clarity. This is your first mental campus. This is where your new skill will be garrisoned. Your assignment is not just to imagine it, but to draw it. A simple, rough floor plan. Label each room, each significant piece of furniture. This makes the structure concrete. Your second lesson: populate the rooms with action. Now, you will turn abstract information into living scenes. The key is to make them absurd, violent, or comical. The more shocking the image, the deeper the memory will be seared into your brain. Are you learning the parts of a cell? Don't just read the words "mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell." Instead, you walk to the front door of your memory palace, and bursting out of it is a tiny, muscled strongman mitochondria, who is ripping the door off its hinges to power the house. You have just created *locus*, a memory location. Learning German prepositions? You walk into the kitchen. On top of the table is an angry chef throwing plates through the window, while a tiny dog is sleeping under the sink. You are not memorizing a list, you are witnessing a story. Take the 10 most critical concepts you learned yesterday and place them in the first 10 locations of your memory palace. Make the images vivid, multisensory, and full of action. Write down the location and the bizarre image you've created for each one. Your final lesson: walk the grounds to reinforce the walls. A memory palace, like any fortress, needs to be patrolled. Once you have placed your memories, you must revisit them. The act of retrieval is what strengthens the neural pathways. At the beginning of each learning session, you will take 2 minutes to walk through your palace. Stand at the entrance and mentally move from room to room, observing the strange scenes you created. Ah yes, there's mighty condor at the front door, and the angry chef in the kitchen. This is not passive review. This is active recall. You are forcing your brain to rebuild the connections from scratch each time. It feels like effort because it is effort. It is the mental equivalent of swinging the weighted sword. Do this once a day, and the palace will become as real as your own home, its contents as unforgettable as your own name. Your orders for day 5 are to become an architect of the mind. 1. Survey and draft your palace. Choose a location you know perfectly, and draw a simple floor plan. Identify at least 20 distinct locations within it. 2. Place the garrison. Convert the 10 most important facts or concepts from your skill into bizarre, unforgettable, animated scenes and place them in the first 10 loci. Write them down. 3. Patrol the walls. Mentally walk through your palace from the entrance, recalling each scene. Do it now, and schedule a time to do it again tomorrow. You have the structure, the practice, the squad, the mindset, and now, the memory. But a legion on a constant war footing will burn out and break. Even the most ruthless army in the world understood a secret that modern productivity gurus forget: the art of strategic rest. Cut to a shot of legionaries around a campfire at dusk. They are not idle. One sharpens his asterisk gladius with slow, deliberate strokes. Another meticulously mends a leather strap on his armor. The atmosphere is calm, focused, and restorative. Narrator: tomorrow, we don't work harder. We learn to recover smarter. Tomorrow is for asteriskotium et negotium, asterisk, the business of rest. Title card: Day 6, OTIUM, the strategic art of recovery. Video opens with a stark contrast. First, a modern office worker, pale under fluorescent lights, mindlessly scrolling through a social media feed on his phone, his face slack and tired. Then, a cut to a sun-drenched riverbank, where a Roman soldier, muscles lean and defined, washes the grime of the day from his face. His movements are efficient, his expression clear. Narrator: we have confused exhaustion with progress. We wear burnout like a badge of honor. We relax by flooding our brains with cheap dopamine from glowing screens, leaving us more drained than before. This is not rest. It is a slow, self-inflicted siege on our own minds. The Romans saw rest, otium asterisk, not as the absence of work, but as its essential partner. It was strategic. It was for restoration, for sharpening the blade, for preparing the mind and body for the next day's battle. A soldier who neglects his recovery is as useless as one who neglects his weapon. Today, you will learn to rest like a warrior, not a consumer. Your first lesson: distinguish recreation from recreation. Modern recreation is mostly passive consumption, binge watching, scrolling, snacking. It dulls the senses and drains willpower. Roman asteriskotium asterisk was active. It was about asterisk recreating your capacity for focused work. It meant engaging in activities that were restorative, not distracting. Look at your 10-minute breaks between your vigilia asterisk, your watch duties. What are you doing? Reaching for your phone? You are training your brain to crave distraction. You are blunting the very focus you just spent 50 minutes sharpening. For the rest of this week, your breaks are to be used for strategic recreation only. This means hydrate, walk, stretch, stare out a window and let your mind wander. Do a few simple bodyweight exercises. The goal is to divorce yourself from input. You have been in attack mode for 50 minutes. This is the time to regroup your forces, not to invite a new enemy, distraction, into the camp. Your second lesson: declare a curfew. A Roman camp at night was a disciplined place. Sentries walked the perimeter, but the legion slept. The commanders knew that a sleep-deprived army was a defeated army. Sleep was not a luxury. It was a tactical necessity for memory consolidation, physical repair, and mental resilience. You have set an alarm to wake up. Today, you will set an alarm to go to sleep. This is your hora quieta asterisk, the quiet hour. 1 hour before your designated bedtime, all screens go dark. The blue light from your devices is a signal to your brain that it is still daytime, and it sabotages the deep sleep necessary for locking in the day's learning. What do you do in this quiet hour? Read a physical book. Tidy your campus. Prepare your tools for the next day. Meditate. Speak with your family. You are creating a deliberate ritual of shutdown, signaling to your mind and body that the day's battle is over. The fortress is secure. It is time to restore the garrison. Your final lesson: conduct the triumph. At the end of a long, successful campaign, a Roman general was awarded a triumph, a grand parade through the streets of Rome to celebrate his victory and display the spoils of war. It was a powerful ritual for acknowledging achievement and cementing the meaning of the struggle. You have been at war with ignorance for 6 days. Tonight, you will hold your own triumph. Open your notebook. Look back at the asterisk pensum asterisk you set for each day. The quotas you met. The concepts you deconstructed. The fears you confronted. The memory palace you built. Read it all. Acknowledge the work done. You have not been passively consuming. You have been building. This is not about ego. It is about closing the feedback loop. It's the proof that the system works. It builds the momentum you need to continue the campaign when this 7-day indoctrination is over. Your orders for day 6 are about sharpening the sword, not just swinging it. 1. Purge your breaks. For the rest of the week, your 10-minute rests will be screen-free. Use them for movement, hydration, or quiet contemplation only. 2. Set the hora quieta asterisk. Establish a mandatory, screen-free, quiet hour before your scheduled bedtime. Set an alarm for it. Obey it, as if it were the law. 3. Hold your triumph. Before the quiet hour begins, review your notebook from the past week. Read aloud a list of the specific, concrete things you have accomplished. The soldier is disciplined, drilled, and battle-hardened. His mind is armored, his memory sharp, and his body restored. All the pieces are in place. You have completed the training of a recruit. But this week was never the war. It was only the training ground. What happens when the gates of the camp open and you march out into the real world? The camera pulls back from the campfire scene to reveal a vast, unknown landscape stretching out before the Legion. The sun is rising, casting long shadows. It is the morning of the first day of a long campaign. Narrator: tomorrow, your indoctrination ends. Your life as a legionary begins. Tomorrow is for *Disciplina Perpetua. The Endless Campaign. Title card: Day 7, Disciplina Perpetua. Beyond the training ground, video opens on a single, striking image: the weathered, scarred face of a veteran Roman centurion. His eyes are not angry or aggressive, but calm, clear, and immensely capable. He is looking not at the camera, but past it, towards the horizon. The rising sun glints off his helmet. Narrator: for 6 days, you have followed my orders. You have submitted to a system. You have learned to think, act, and train like a Roman recruit. Today, the orders stop. This 7-day trial was not the goal. It was a forge. It was designed to heat your habits to a glowing temperature, and hammer them into a new shape. Now, the process is over. The true test begins. Can the weapon hold its edge? The final Roman principle is not a technique, it is a transformation. Disciplina perpetua. Perpetual discipline. It is the understanding that the training never ends. The campaign is life itself. Today, you are not dismissed from service. You are promoted. You are no longer the recruit. You are the centurion of your own life. Your first and final lesson: strike the tent, but keep the standards. The intensity of this week is a sprint, not a marathon. You cannot live your entire life in a boot camp. The time has come to re-enter the world. But you do not go back as you were. You will now integrate the system, not abandon it. Your campus may no longer be a Spartan corner for hours a day, but you will maintain the principle of a consecrated space. When you sit down to work, Your phone will still be in the other room. Your terrarium may not be filled with multiple 50-minute blocks, but you will defend one unbreakable vigilia each day, as if your life depended on it. Your check-in with your contubernalis may become a weekly strategic review instead of a daily report. You are adapting the tactics to a new campaign. You are striking the temporary camp, but you are marching forward under the same eagle standard of discipline, practice, and accountability. Your final assignment is to decide what that new, sustainable campaign schedule looks like. Write it down. This is your new law, written by you. Your second lesson: you are the Vitus. Throughout this week, I have been your centurion. The structure of this course was your Vitus *, the staff that enforced the standards. Now, that responsibility is yours alone. There will be no more daily orders. No more dramatic music. There will only be the promises you made to yourself. The power of this entire system rests on a single point: your personal honor. The Romans built an empire on the idea that a man's word was his bond. You will be tempted to let the standards slip, to allow the enemy of distraction back into your camp, to skip a report to your shieldmate. When that moment comes, you must understand, you are not just breaking a habit, you are breaking your word. You are proving yourself unworthy of command. You must become your own centurion, willing to enforce the standards without pity, but with the clear purpose of victory. And finally, look at what you have built. Forget the metaphors. Forget the Romans. Look at the skill in front of you. The lines of code you wrote, the sentences you can now speak, the notes you can play, the concepts that are no longer abstract, but live inside the palace of your mind. This is not theory, it is reality. In 7 days, you have done more than most people do in a month, because you used a system forged in the highest stakes imaginable. You have proven to yourself that you are capable of immense focus and rapid progress. That is the real lesson. That is the spoils of this campaign. This system is now yours. It is a 2,000-year-old key. It can unlock any skill, overcome any obstacle, and build any future you have the courage to fight for. The training is over. The war for the life you want has just begun. Go win it. The image of the centurion holds for a long moment. He gives a slow, almost imperceptible nod. The screen fades to black. There is only the sound of a steady, rhythmic marching, which grows fainter and fainter until there is only silence.